What is up, everybody, and today I have a new build video for you today, and we're going to focus on the Titan. Something I personally don't do that often. I just like the other two classes better, but this build is actually really fun, and it utilizes things that I don't think people use that often on Titan. Most people stick to Top Tree Titan, or Top Tree Sentinel Titan for Bubble, but I like Commander, and I paired it with Outbreak Perfected just to see how the Void Detonators would work, and they worked how I thought they would, and I really enjoyed my time using it. But before I get too deep into that, I'm going to just take a second to say, hey, please subscribe, comment, like. I have a Twitch and Twitter. I also have a Discord server. If you could go check out all those things, I would really appreciate that. But back to the video itself. So, Outbreak Perfected with Middle Tree Sentinel. It's all about the passive game. Not to mention that this season we have Unstoppable Pulse, which helps. But Void Detonators deal enough damage to them, they explode. Okay? Well, Outbreak Perfected, the more precision damage you do, the more nanites you spawn, which attack that enemy again. So you're doing the damage of a primary plus a little bit extra, and if you kill them with a headshot, then they explode into multiple nanites, or if you have the catalyst, if they have nanites on them, they release nanites. You don't need the catalyst for this build to work, just saying, but it would help. Outbreak Perfected has never been bad. It's just that pulse rifles and PvE have been in a rough spot for a while, so if you don't want to run it, I understand that, but try it out with Middle Tree Sentinel. But our armor exotic, what would you want? Well, there's a few ways you could take that. I would recommend Heart of Inmost Light as an option. Get your grenades and melees back faster. Or you could use Armamentarium to have 2 grenades. There is one problem with Armamentarium, and I'm going to correct that when I have footage up for mods, but we'll get to that in a minute. So, other things you might want to run, I ran Double Fusion just for boss DPS and major clear, with Particle Deconstruction because it's just the best mod in the game right now. Threaded Needle is great. If you don't have it, go run Battlegrounds if you can. If you don't own Season of the Chosen, I think you can still get it from the Prismatic Recaster if you focus it for Chosen engrams. So I would recommend that you get a Threaded Needle, is what I'm trying to say. And then I have a Cartesian, or Null Composure works. It's just kind of up to you and what you need it for. Cartesian's great for solar shields, and Threaded Needle works on Void, which you already have with your abilities, but that's not the point. So you also have Unstoppable on Outbreak Perfected, which is great because Outbreak Perfected has nanites, and those nanites can proc Unstoppable. So you are a menace to Unstoppable champions, and you have Double Fusion in Season 15, where fusions make fusions do more damage. So I'm just going to go into the rest of the mods real quick, and it's going to be pretty simple. Okay, so starting on our helmet, I equipped double hands-on so I get more super energy from melee kills, and then I put in Well of Tenacity. Your stat slot, you can pretty much put whatever. I did Discipline mod, that way I can have more grenades to fit with my Armamentarium, and it's just a good way to make more detonators, more explosions, more detonators. It keeps going, and Outbreak Perfected just helps to keep damage going. Next up, we have our gauntlets. Of course, Unstoppable Pulse Rifle, and then I used Well of Light, but the grenade refresh, the stasis grenade kickstart, don't use that. Use melee kickstart if you're using Armamentarium. It is bugged with Armamentarium and does not give you grenade energy back, so just a warning, use melee instead of grenade. Our chest piece, Concussive Dampener was really nice for Proving Grounds just because how that strike is, and then I used Grenade Well Maker. That way I can make Void Wells, which helps me with Well of Tenacity to get damage resistance, and then I threw on just another discipline mod. Leg armor, we have Explosive Well Maker because void detonators are explosions, so they make solar wells, which we'll get more into in a bit, but picking up orbs give you grenade energy back, and then just a discipline mod. There's different ways you could do this, but this worked for me personally, and that's why I did it. So you could probably do Fusion Rifle Scavenger, and that might work better for you, but that's just personally what I did for my build. Now finally, the last thing on this build, our mark. Of course, as I said earlier, particle deconstruction is great because it's just one of the best mods in the game right now. And then Well of Ordnance, so when you pick up those solar wells from Explosive Well Maker, you get more grenade energy back, and then just a discipline mod to finish that off. And yeah, that's about it for the armor mods. And now just for a moment, I want to talk about what stats you need to focus on. Of course, discipline. As I've been saying this entire time, discipline, great stat for this. And then probably resilience, just so you could tank a little bit more damage and so that you get your barrier faster. And I think intellect would be a good option, just because you do have a really good super. It provides weapons of light to your teammates and you get to block damage for them. So I personally really like the super. It also applies more detonators if you care about that. So those are my top 3 stats for this. Of course, recovery is always going to be a great stat to have. It is the best physical stat in the game. But yeah, that's about it for stats. Now let's talk about where to use this. I think Proving Grounds is a great strike for it. You need to handle unstoppables. You can help to protect your teammates from damage, which there's a lot of in, let's say, the tank room, the boss room. There's just a lot of damage in this strike. You get to give a damage buff, which is needed in a lot of areas of this strike. It's just a really good build for that. The only thing you can't really do is pop anti-barriers, but if you have 2 teammates with you, that shouldn't be as much of a problem. So that helps. Basically, I'm just saying, try this build out. It helps support your team. You can handle adds better than your team, and you have boss damage with fusion rifles. So you do have a lot of things you can do pretty well, and better than a lot of builds that I've tried. It's not as obvious of a synergy as what I did last week on Revenant, but it's a really fun one, and it works surprisingly well. Try this out, especially if you have the Outbreak Perfected Catalyst. If you don't, still give it a try, especially if you have Outbreak. If you don't quite have Outbreak, it might not be worth your time, but if you have a spare exotic cipher, give it a shot. It is a lot of fun, especially in strikes where enemies group up and can tank the magnetic grenade or whatever grenade you choose to use. But yeah, that's about it for this video. I had a lot of fun with this build. I hope you try it out, and if you have any ideas, drop them down below, and if you liked the video, tell me. Like the video, you know, all those things, and yeah, see you next time.